Mailwall supports TLS to automatically secure email traffic from the point of leaving your network until it reaches your chosen recipient's domain boundary. No end-user configuration is necessary for TLS, and traffic encrypted this way can still be scanned for content by the Mailwall Remote Policy Engine. We'll demonstrate now how to configure TLS. What I will do is remotely log on to our account, go to the Manage Domain section and scroll down to the bottom. This is the list of the domains currently configured for TLS. All I have to do is just enter the domain name, and this now has been added to the enforced TLS domain list. What will happen now is that the system will do a check whether or not the domain omniquad is compatible with TLS. If it is, it will be shown as confirmed and all mails will be delivered using TLS. If at any point the TLS connection is broken, for example the recipient's mail server no longer supports the certificate, what will happen then is that an internal ticket will be raised and our technicians will investigate and notify you that secure connection to this domain is no longer possible. Since this is an enforced TLS, all traffic to the domain will be stopped until either the TLS problem is resolved or you decide to turn it off. Data loss prevention. Let's now take a closer look at data loss prevention policies within Mailwall. I'm going to go to the policy editor and select our DLP check rule. As you can see, this rule has been currently configured to apply to just outgoing traffic. We are going to ignore all those checks here because they relate to other rules and other checks which we have not yet enabled for the DLP policy. This is the main DLP section. We can look for traditional things such as specific keywords within the message header, subject or body, but we will concentrate on this section, which is a more advanced high-definition data loss prevention engine. The Mailwall Content Screening Engine analyzes the message body and attachments to detect patterns representing confidential or personal data. As you can see in this list, the engine can detect names, addresses, emails, social security numbers, credit card numbers or dates. In this example policy, we are looking to detect more than 1,000 names within one document. That is quite many, but it gives just an example of what the policy can be configured to do. Let's say I wanted to stop a document which includes 1,000 names, but perhaps a combination of 50 names and dates of birth at the same time. The way I can do this is I can select names and dates and select 50 here. I can see that this is configured as any. What I have now is a new regular expression, which is basically asking the DLP policy to kick in when we detect 1,000 names or 50 names and dates, which would possibly indicate dates of birth or some other dates which relate to those names. Again, here being an indication of personal data. You could have any number of such rules active in place, and each rule could be looking at different combinations and different data thresholds, just as you see here. Although this rule applies specifically to just outgoing traffic, we could also apply it to custom recipients or custom senders for specific domains. We could also include or exclude specific security groups or organization units from this particular DLP check. This is useful, for instance, if you wanted to say that specific employees are allowed to handle specific types of data. You would exclude them then in the policy here. Likewise, you could say that specific organizations are allowed to receive specific types of information. So again, this is where you would exclude them from this particular policy. A very important thing to mention here is that the biggest benefit of this DLP engine is that it can see a difference between, for example, one name and the list of 1,000 names. This is because virtually every email has a name in it, and that normally bears no significance, but an email with 1,000 names is likely to include data that needs to be protected. Now that we have selected all the detection criteria, we can decide what to do when a particular message fails those checks. Let's scroll down to the bottom of this page. A number of initial actions are listed here, a couple of them of potential interest to us. First one is that we can reply to the message sender, telling him, for example, that the email has been blocked due to the data loss prevention policy in place. We could also send an alert to the administrator and then decide on the final action. A couple of actions now which are perhaps most suitable when handling data loss prevention policies. First one is the quarantine, when the message never leaves your organization. The second is the secure quarantine. What happens here is that notification is sent to the third party, inviting them to log on to the secure mail portal and securely access the message there. The secure mail portal. We will now have a look at an example policy dealing with the secure mail portal. This policy is configured for outgoing mail. It is providing support for an end user's encrypting messages directly within Outlook. It also picks up credit card numbers. If any of those conditions are met, we then send a notification to the recipient. This is fully customizable. We then store a message in secure quarantine. I will now send myself an encrypted message. In this example, we will be controlling encryption from within Outlook itself, so the end user can click on the Secure Delivery button and click Send. I am now going to log onto my Hotmail account. Here I see the notification message. As you can see, it has been sent with the same message body as we have configured in our rule. I click on it now. It is asking me to set up my password. That has been accepted, so I can now log on. And here I have my message. I'll click on it now to open it. And here we go. Depending on the global settings for the secure portal, we can also display an option for the end user to download the message, forward it, or view the message headers. I will reply to this message now. And send it back to myself. And that's it.